In every cop's life, there's a moment when everything changes, a moment when the line between right and wrong blurs, and you're forced to make a choice you can never take back. Adam Thompson was just a man trying to do his job until the day he learned the price of justice. Now, standing at the edge of everything he's ever known, he has one final chance to make it right, or lose it all. This is it, the moment he's been running from. The last call. Before we dive into today's story, let us know in the comments where in the world are you watching this video from. We'd love to hear from you. It's just another night, another quiet, ordinary shift in a city that never seems to sleep, but tonight feels different. The rain has a rhythm to it, soothing in its own way, like the lull before the storm. The kind of night where you can almost feel the world holding its breath, waiting for something to break the stillness. For Officer Adam Gray, these quiet nights are both a blessing and a curse. They give him time to think, time to reflect. But deep down, he knows nothing stays calm forever. Every seasoned cop feels it, the unsettling stillness that always precedes chaos. Officer Gray told, "Just one more shift. I can make it. Just one more." He lets out a quiet laugh, half exhausted, half nervous. The same thoughts run through his head at the end of every shift, same routine, same late hours. The city's pulse is slow, like the beat of a tired heart, until, of course, it isn't. But tonight, something's different. Adam doesn't know what it is yet, but he can feel it. That familiar unease gnaws at him. It's the calm before the storm, and he's been a cop long enough to know that when things seem too quiet, something's coming. Adam's a good cop. He's seen it all, the broken families, the violent crimes, the aftermath of bad choices. But it's nights like this that get under your skin, when the streets are empty and the city is quiet. That's when your mind starts to wander. That's when you remember all the faces, the people who've come and gone, the ones you couldn't save, the ones you couldn't stop. You remember the victims, but you also remember the ones who walked away, unscathed, untouched. But tonight feels like something's coming for Adam. Something that doesn't care about badges or the law, something much bigger than a routine shift. He leans back in his seat, eyes half closed, his hands gripping the wheel a little too tightly. His thoughts keep racing back to Sarah, Officer Sarah Williams, his partner, his friend. Flashback to a few hours ago, a conversation in the break room, laughter, Sarah joking about how Adam would get through the shift, her easy smile, the way she always kept things light even when things got tough. He's always been able to count on Sarah, the two of them partners in the truest sense of the word. They've worked side by side for years, navigating the worst the city can throw at them. But tonight, that sense of camaraderie feels distant, like a fading echo. Sarah's not here with him now. She's probably out there, on the beat, doing her part, somewhere in the dark, and Adam can't shake the feeling that something's wrong. His phone vibrates in his pocket, and for a second he's frozen. He's hoping it's nothing, hoping it's just a reminder or a call for something minor. But the unease in his gut says otherwise. With a deep breath he pulls it out, glancing at the screen. It's the precinct, a simple message from dispatcher Carla. "All units on standby. Stay alert. Quiet night." Adam's heart skips a beat. Standby. He knows that means nothing good. It's the kind of message that gets sent when they're expecting something big, the calm before the storm. He flicks on the siren light, just in case, not full lights, just enough to signal his presence, like an early warning. The shadows of the city seem to stretch further now, the rain blurring everything around him. Officer Gray told stay alert. They always say that, don't they? But tonight it feels real, like they're all waiting for something, waiting for me. Out here, on these streets, you learn fast that the storm can break at any moment. That quiet? It's the silence before the crack of thunder, the calm before everything changes. And for Adam Gray, tonight might just be the night that everything he thought he knew gets tested. Tonight the city will show him its true face. Tonight he'll face something he could never have predicted. The storm is coming, and Adam Gray is about to be caught right in the middle. He's seen enough nights like this to know that they can go one of two ways. The silence, the nothingness, is either a blessing or a warning, and Adams learned to trust that gut instinct of his. Tonight it feels like the latter. The city's skyline is just a blur of lights and shadows in his rear-view mirror. The rain hasn't stopped. If anything, it's getting heavier. Each drop a tiny drum beat on the roof of the car. It's as if the world is holding its breath, waiting for the moment that will shatter the calm. But then, just as Adam's fingers drum against the steering wheel, the radio crackles to life, slicing through the quiet with a sudden, sharp burst of static. Dispatcher, urgent, anxious. All units, shots fired. Officer down, corner of Maple and 5th. Repeat, officer down. The words hit like a gut punch, dragging Adam out of his reverie in an instant. His breath catches in his throat. His pulse quickens. His eyes widen, not in disbelief, but in the cold realization of what this means. It's not a drill, it's not a routine call, this is real, shots fired. Those words hang in the air like smoke from a fire, dangerous, lethal, unavoidable. The very idea of an officer going down in the line of duty is something no cop ever truly prepares for. They all know the risks, of course, they've signed up for this life. But it's a truth that's often easier to ignore when it's just a passing thought, a distant possibility. But when the call comes through, everything changes. The comfort of the quiet night shatters, and suddenly Adam is wide awake, his body alive with adrenaline. His hand moves instinctively to the radio, pressing the button with a quick flick of his fingers. Officer Gray, voice urgent, steady. This is Gray, I'm 1042, en route, where's the backup? Dispatcher, crackling, a mix of fear and professionalism. Backup is en route, Adam, just get there as quickly as you can. We're not sure how many suspects are involved, but Officer Williams, she's down, we need you. Sarah's name hangs in the air like a prayer. She's been Adam's partner for years. They've shared countless calls, countless shifts, and every moment in between. She's the one who's always had his back, the one who always found a way to make the grim, bloody work of their job seem bearable. Now, the thought of her lying there, hurt, bleeding, it's a reality that Adam can't let sink in, not yet, because if he lets it, if he allows himself to think about her, it will break him, and right now, he can't afford that, not when every second counts. The sound of sirens fills the air, joining the chaos of the moment. Adam can hear them in the distance, getting closer. He pushes harder on the gas, the car surging forward as the streets blur with speed. The rain is coming down so hard now that it feels like the world is falling apart, the floodwaters rising with each passing second. The city's heartbeat is speeding up, matching his own. Officer Gray told, "Come on, Sarah, hold on." He swerves around a corner and finally sees it, the flashing red and blue lights of the crime scene, the corner of Maple and 5th, the police tape, the chaos. The scene is swarming with officers, paramedics, and detectives. But in the middle of it all, there's a stark, terrifying emptiness. Sarah isn't in sight. He can feel his heartbeat in his throat. The air smells thick, of blood, of fear, of something much worse. Every step feels like it's taking him deeper into the unknown, deeper into the nightmare he never wanted to live. He approaches a detective Mark, one of the officers on scene. Mark doesn't even need to say a word. Adam already sees it in his face, the way his eyes avoid Adam's, the way his hands tremble just slightly. The grim silence is enough. Detective Mark, voice low, strained. Adam, it's Sarah, she's gone, man, gone. It's a word that feels wrong, too small, too quiet for the weight it carries. How do you process that? How do you reconcile the Sarah you knew, the one who laughed in the break room, the one who had a heart bigger than this entire city? How do you accept that the storm has already passed, and now there's nothing but the wreckage? Officer Gray told, "This isn't over, not by a long shot. And now Adam Gray's journey begins, a journey that will test everything he's ever believed in, a journey that will take him into the heart of the storm, where no one is safe and no one can be trusted. Adam steps into the alley, his boots sinking into the wet ground with each step. He can feel the weight of the night pressing in on him, the oppressive silence of it all. The world seems different now, far more dangerous than it did just hours ago. And this alley, this crime scene, holds the key to everything. Officer Gray told Sarah's not here anymore. She's not the only one lost tonight. The storm didn't just take one life, it tore through this entire city like a wildfire, leaving destruction in its wake. And now it's my turn to put the pieces together. Adam's eyes scan the area, searching for anything out of place. His mind races. There's so much to process. The way Sarah had been found, the way she'd been shot, once point blank in the chest. She hadn't stood a chance. But what did this mean? Who could have done this, and why? Officer Gray told a struggle, definitely. Whoever did this didn't want Sarah to go down without a fight, but that's not what's nagging at me. No, this feels planned, intentional. I don't know who this person is yet, but I know they wanted to make a statement. This isn't the first time Adam has stepped into a crime scene like this. He's faced brutal murders, violent assaults, and endless tragedies throughout his career. But something about this, something about the way Sarah was taken from him, it changes everything. The gut instinct he's learned to trust tells him there's more to this. This wasn't a random act of violence, this was personal. Officer Gray told there's a message here. Whoever did this is leaving me clues. And I'll follow every last one until I find them. They think they can get away with this, but they're wrong. I won't stop. The closer he gets to the dumpster, the more it feels like the walls are closing in. The rain's patter on the ground is deafening in the silence, as if the world itself is holding its breath, waiting for Adam to make the next move. What he'll find in this trash-filled corner of the city could change everything. This wasn't a random attack. Whoever did this knew Sarah. They were close. They wanted to send a message to Adam, to anyone who might come looking. This was calculated, and that badge, it's more than just a piece of evidence, it's a taunt, a signal that the killer is watching, waiting for Adam to step deeper into the web they've spun. Officer Gray gritted teeth. Who the hell are you? This is only the beginning. The truth is buried somewhere in this alley, in the rain, in the shadows. And Adam knows that the closer he gets to it, the more dangerous this game will become. But one thing is certain, he can't stop. Not now, not when Sarah's blood is still fresh on the pavement, and not when the man or woman who did this is still out there, watching his every move. Officer Gray told I'm not done, not yet. Adam sits in the back of the ambulance, his hands trembling as he clutches the badge. The piece of evidence that had slipped from his fingers like a cruel reminder of what had been lost. It feels different now. He doesn't know if it's the weight of the badge itself or the silence that has descended over everything, but it feels as though time is moving in slow motion. The steady beeping of the heart monitor is the only sound in the cramped space, an almost ironic rhythm to accompany the chaos of his thoughts. Paramedic told she's critical, we've got to get her to the hospital now, don't know if we can save her though. Sarah had been his partner for over a year, through thick and thin. They'd been through hell together on more than one occasion. But this was different. This wasn't just another crime. This wasn't just another day at work. Sarah wasn't just a colleague anymore. She was more. She was someone he trusted, someone who had become like family. And now she was fighting for her life in the back of an ambulance, while the city carried on as if nothing had changed. The flashing lights reflect off the sleek windows, the distant city lights a blur of colors. It feels as though the world is slipping away, fading into the darkness. The storm outside mirrors the storm inside Adam. His heart races, his mind unable to focus. He keeps seeing Sarah's face, Her smile, the way she laughed at his jokes, the way they'd argued over trivial things, and now it's all slipping away, fading like the lights outside. Paramedics told she's losing blood fast. We need to stabilize her before we get to the hospital or it's over. Come on, Sarah, Adam whispers, his voice barely audible over the hum of the ambulance. Don't do this, don't leave me. There's a bond that forms when you go through the kind of shit Adam and Sarah had gone through together. A bond that's deeper than friendship, deeper than trust. It's the kind of bond that can't be explained, only understood when you've been through the fire together. And now Adam is watching that bond slip away, watching the life drain out of Sarah, knowing that he might not have the chance to tell her the things he should have said, the things he's kept hidden for so long. The ambulance doors slam shut with a heavy thud, and Adam's heart skips a beat. The siren wails, louder now, as the vehicle picks up speed, but it feels like everything is moving in slow motion. Sarah's condition is deteriorating, she's slipping away, and he's helpless to stop it. He can't stop the blood, can't stop the damage already done. Sarah, he breathes, his voice catching. Can you hear me? Detective Adam Thompson sits behind his desk, his fingers idly tapping the edge of a mug that's long gone cold. His mind is a whirlwind of chaos, each thought more disconnected than the last. Sarah's face lingers in his mind, her pale, lifeless form in the back of that ambulance, the faint sound of her breath, a fleeting hope in the chaos of it all. But that hope is fading. The doctors at the hospital had done everything they could, but it wasn't enough. Sarah's condition was critical. No one was sure if she would make it through the night. It all started with a routine call. A robbery gone wrong, a street confrontation. But what Adam had discovered in the hours since wasn't just a case of bad luck. It was something more deliberate, something more dangerous. Whoever was behind this, whoever had put Sarah in that ambulance, was playing a game. And Adam was only now starting to see the rules. Sarah told, anything new? I've gone through the surveillance footage again. Still nothing, no clear leads. Just a shadow moving across the alley. Adam stares at the photo of the alley where Sarah had been shot. The place looks so ordinary in the daylight. A rundown area, littered with trash, barely a place anyone would notice. But that night, it had been the stage for something much more sinister, something cold. Adam, into the phone, cautious. Thompson. Voice hushed. I know what happened to Sarah. Adam told, what do you know? Voice low, menacing. I know who did it, but if you want answers, you'll have to follow the trail. It's not what you think, Adam. It's much bigger than that. Adam places the phone down, his mind racing. The last thing he needs is more ambiguity, more games. But this voice, whoever it was, had just given him a sliver of hope. Hope that there was a plan, a purpose behind the attack on Sarah. And that meant it wasn't random. It meant the storm was far from over. Sarah, concerned, what's going on? Who was that? Adam, determined yet uncertain. I don't know, but it sounds like we're not dealing with just another street crime. Someone's pulling the strings, and I'm going to find out who. Sarah, pointing at the photo. Who's this? Adam, grimly. That's Eric Cross. He's an enforcer for one of the city's biggest gangs. But why would he be involved in something like this? Sarah. Maybe that's the key. Maybe Sarah wasn't just a victim. Maybe she was getting too close to something we don't understand yet. The investigation had just taken a turn. What started as a routine case had unraveled into something much darker, more dangerous. Adam knows one thing for certain. Whoever is behind this will stop at nothing to make sure the truth remains buried. But he won't stop. He can't. Not while Sarah's life hangs in the balance. Not while there's even a sliver of hope left to hold on to. Adam's car rumbles to a stop outside the warehouse, its headlights cutting through the mist like a knife. His knuckles are white as he grips the steering wheel, the unease gnawing at him. The message had been clear, come alone, but something in Adam's gut told him that was the last thing he should do. Still, he couldn't risk missing his only lead, the mysterious voice from the phone call earlier that had promised to reveal the truth about Sarah's shooting. For a moment, Adam lets the darkness swallow him whole. His footsteps echo in the eerie silence of the abandoned lot, each one louder than the last. He's been through dangerous situations before, battling criminals, navigating the chaos of the streets, but tonight feels different. The familiar buzz of adrenaline in his veins has turned into a quiet dread, as if he knows something terrible is about to unfold. He's no longer just a detective chasing a lead. He's a man walking toward his own reckoning. He's not alone. Adam knows it before he sees the figure step out from the shadows, his outline only just visible in the dim light filtering through the broken windows. The man is tall, dressed in dark clothes, his face obscured by the hood of his jacket. Adam's heart skips a beat as he recognizes the figure from the photographs, Eric Cross, the enforcer with ties to the city's underworld. Eric Cross told, "Glad you could make it, detective." Adam told, "What do you want, Cross?" "I've come this far, you've got me here, so tell me what's really going on." Eric Cross told, "You think you're the one in control here, detective? You've got it all wrong, you're just a pawn in a much bigger game." "Sarah, she wasn't the target, you were." Adam told, "What the hell are you talking about?" Eric Cross told, "You've been digging where you shouldn't." "You're a threat, Adam. The moment you started asking questions about Sarah, you signed your own death warrant. But you wouldn't listen. You never listen. So now, look where we are." Adam told, You knew I'd come here." Eric Cross told, "Of course I knew. I've been waiting for you, detective. You're not the first cop who thought he could crack this case, but you'll be the last." Adam's breath quickens, but he doesn't flinch. He's been in worse situations, but the feeling in the pit of his stomach tells him this is no ordinary confrontation. This is the betrayal, the moment everything he believed in starts to crumble. His mind races, the phone call, the cryptic words, the sudden shift in the investigation, it all points to one horrifying truth. Someone within the department has been working with Cross, pulling strings from the inside. Eric Cross told, "You think your friends are going to save you? Too late for that. You're already dead, Thompson, and as for Sarah, well, she was just a collateral damage. She got in the way." The betrayal stings more than the barrel of a gun ever could. Adam's world is crumbling, but he won't go down without a fight. He knows the odds are against him, but there's still one thing he can control: his will to survive. Eric Cross told, "Go ahead, detective, make your move, but remember, you're not just fighting me, you're fighting the system." The tension in the warehouse is palpable, thick, suffocating, and electric. The dim light casts long shadows over the concrete floor, stretching across the walls like dark hands reaching for Adam. The gun in his hand trembles ever so slightly, his fingers still gripped tightly around the cold metal. Every breath feels like a weight, each second stretching out like an eternity as he faces the cold, mocking smile of Eric Cross. Adam's chest rises and falls rapidly. His mind is racing, trying to make sense of the impossible situation he's been thrust into. Cross stands just a few feet away, his dark eyes gleaming in the low light, enjoying the moment, savoring the game. But Adam knows one thing for certain: he's reached the point of no return. Eric Cross told, "You really think you can win this, Adam? You're outnumbered, outgunned. This is bigger than you, bigger than your badge, your justice." Adam told, "It's not about winning, it's about ending it, now." Eric Cross told, "Ending it? How? You've got nothing left, Adam. No backup, no allies, no way out. And you really think you can stop me and my crew with that gun? You're alone. It's over." Adam's gaze flickers around the warehouse, searching the shadows, scanning for any sign of a way out, a hidden angle, a vulnerability. There, in the far corner, a stack of crates, a precarious pile just barely balanced. He doesn't have much time. Cross is still taunting him, but Adam isn't listening anymore. His focus narrows to the crates, calculating the distance, the angle. Cross notices the shift in Adam's posture, the slight narrowing of his eyes. He laughs again, more menacing this time. Eric Cross told you think you can escape? You're in my world now, Thompson. There's no running, no place to hide. The thugs, momentarily distracted by the loud crash, scramble to reposition. Adam doesn't hesitate. He springs into action, his heart pounding in his chest as he sprints for cover, using the chaos to his advantage. Cross roars in fury, but it's too late. Adam's already several steps ahead, moving with the speed and precision of a man fighting for his life. Adam told Claire, "The warehouse feels like a ticking time bomb. Every second that passes brings them closer to a violent conclusion." Adam knows that if he hesitates, if he lets his guard down for even a moment, it's over. The next few minutes could mean a life or death for him, for Claire, for everyone who's ever trusted him. Eric Cross told, "You brought her here, Thompson? You really think she's going to save you? You're both dead." It's a blur, a flurry of movement, gunshots, and chaos, but Adam and Claire move like one. Years of partnership, of trust, of shared danger come into play. They're a team, and tonight they're fighting for their lives, fighting for justice. Adam told, "This ends now. Cross." In the instant before the world fades to black, Adam's thoughts flash to Sarah, the girl he couldn't protect, the case he couldn't solve. And for the first time, he's at peace. He's done everything he can, and then nothing. Do you think Adam made the right choices, or was there another way out for him? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about it. And if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more heart-pounding action. You won't want to miss what happens next.